Roadhouse 100 times with Patrick Swayze, and Wade Garrett was the guy, the mentor. That's who he's named after. But that's the only name she picked. I was wrestling with WCW at that time, and I quickly said WCW, Wade Christian Walker, with the ideal I could turn around and use world-class wrestling. Stuck him in a wrestling ring at age 11. Took them all to the wrestling ring, not just him. If he was going, the others were going. Everywhere he went, they went. That one there I called uglier in me until we found out he just wouldn't shut up and named him out. So they all have their points and their reasons. With that said, I have created him, I've guided him, and the only thing bad I can say about it is I do have a receipt for all them damn books behind me. And I am going to make him pay me for them books behind me. In a way, I wish he'd have never shaved his head off, or exactly, his hair off, for the ideal that was what made him different and set him to the side. But he shaved his head to save a dog. What could I do? He found a way out. The loophole, you will. Now, he won't get his shoes dirty. Weasels his way out of work every chance he gets. His mama can't get him to feed the damn dog out back. And she makes the bowl of food. All it is open the door, put the food outside, shut the door. Can he do that? No. If he does do it, he leaves the bowl outside, and if y'all might come by and see my nicely decorated bowl by dog, you're more than welcome, but his mama wasn't happy about it. But he is a good kid. I will say that he gets mad and gets frustrated, especially with his brother. He gets a hard head and thinks he just knows the whole world. But he don't. And it's people like us that stand around him and teach him, hey, you're not so smart after all. Now, with that said, I have one person that's been dying to just say what he wanted to, and I've waited all the way till he sat down. Come on, son. You're a person. Yeah, you do. You said all day long, I wanted to roast you.
Come on, Logan.
No, I did not.
Come on, Logan.
All right, with that said, it's okay. Okay. Mr. Bill?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that again.
Yeah, that's about what he did.
Well, I was watching the news last night, Channel 13 News out of Memphis, and this little get-together was announced on the news. So I thought I'd just go ahead and crash the party. So I set my cruise control, and I'm over here often enough, it knew where to go, and here we are. I've met you guys through the comic cons and collecting comic books. Of course, you're seeing on the wall here $10, $20, $30 worth of comic books, something in that range. And we text message back and forth, and we talk, and we've gotten to be pretty good friends, all of us, through the comic cons. After seeing that on the news, there was also another little part. They were debating whether to declare. Is today your birthday? No, Monday. It was Monday. So what would the date have been on Monday?
7.
The 7th. March 7th was going to be declared in Memphis Weasel Day.
Yeah.
The day of the weasel. But since that's too similar to Groundhog Day, and we've already got that, they decided not to name it Weasel Day. So sorry. There's no day named after you. Groundhog's pretty close, though. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. So, I've been asking the question for, I guess we've known each other for over a year now, maybe 2 years or so. Where did the name, because I didn't, poor kid, I didn't know you had a real name. All I ever heard was the Weasel. So I started investigating, where did that come from? What is the origin? You got up here some origin issues. The Green Goblin's origin, Carnage origin, Submariner's origin, and on it goes. What is his origin? What's the story behind the weasel? Well, now you've claimed ownership today. And I don't blame you. Because Because honestly, you know, when you scrape away all the fungus, when you scrape away all the slime, you've got actually a pretty good kid here. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
Which part? That you got to scrape away the slime and the fungus, or that he's pretty good? Yeah. Well, I just investigated, and I found out that what really happened here, he was bitten when he was a little bitty boy by a radioactive weasel. And he got the powers of the weasel.
Oh my God.
Believe it? How about this one then? He'd gone wandering out into the wilderness. And he got caught by a weasel gamma bomb. And trained, whenever he gets angry, he turns into the weasel.
No.
Say, weasel smash!
Nope.
No? Well, then maybe he had snuck out in the middle of the night and got into his rocket ship that he'd been building in the backyard. Now, I know you've been building rocket ships and stuff. And he took off in the middle of the night trying to be the first one on the moon. Sorry, that was 1969. And he went through the cosmic ray belt, and he came back with fantastic weasel powers. Is that possible? Possible. But I don't think so. No. Not really. Well, you know, Rob and Bertha claim that he is their own natural born son. But there are some clues and hints that really they were driving down the gravel road in their old pickup truck and saw this crashed rocket ship in the ditch. And they stopped and got out, and the door had popped open, and there lay this cute little baby. What happened? This cute little baby.
Yeah. And then we cloned.
He had been sent when the planet Weasel exploded and landed here on Earth. And now he's got the fantastic weasel powers. Is that possible? Possible. Or maybe late one day he was in his probably 8th, 9th grade, something like that. And just out of the blue, out of the air, comes this green weasel ring. And chose him for the power of the weasel. Think that's possible? Maybe. Okay, everybody repeat after me. Okay, first of all, you gotta make your fist, stick your fist in the air. Everyone do this with me, come on. Repeat after me. In weasel days.
In weasel days.
And weasel nights.
And weasel nights.
No comics shall escape my sight.
No comic shall escape my sight.
Let those who laugh at four-color might beware my power.
Beware my power.
The weasel light.
The weasel light.
Now let me explain what you just did.
Uh-oh.
The original, in fact, this Popeye comic book, if you look in the inside cover, it says four-color, number 127. That's the printing process that comic books were started with, called four-color. And that ring came and gave you the power of the weasel. Is that possible? Possible. Yeah. It smells like bacon. Weasel bacon. Well, I don't think that was 9th grade. That's the, might have been 7th grade. When you reach that time where you start growing facial hair, and things, and, you'll reach there someday. But a group called the Weasels of the Galaxy showed up on his doorstep and recruited him to be part of their superhero team. Well, I don't think that was it either. Even though Rocket Raccoon needed a new buddy. He didn't like you. Yeah, you kept trying to take all the food and stuff from him.
Yep.
Or maybe this. Back in the day, Rob and Bertha worked at a nuclear power plant. And a weasel had gotten loose in there. It was exposed to all that radiation. Well, it didn't affect them directly. But then a year later, along comes the baby, and he becomes the first weasel mutant with the weasel DNA gene. Think that's possible? Possible. He's actually Wolverine's cousin. You know, weasels and wolverines are cousins. His genetically altered DNA, the weasel mutant gene. Oh, by the way, talking about hereditary and genes and stuff, did you watch the news last night? And you watched the news last night? CNN? They reported that, now this might be a little gross to you, they reported that diarrhea is hereditary. It runs in your genes. Or maybe, poor little weasel as a little boy, as 4, 5, 6 years old, witnessed the tragic murder of his real parents. But it was so nice you guys plucked him out of the we're talking about kids, and you plucked him out of the children's home and all. But unknown to you, this was one damaged young man. This was one damaged young man, and his mental state was witnessing such a tragic event. In a dark alley, one night after a movie, his parents brutally taken from him, and this twisted, disturbed child emerged from that event. The dark weasel rises. Well, you get the idea. Those are all origin stories of different superheroes. And those superheroes are on the walls behind you. See, I'm one of the happy endings. There's not many of us around. My mama never threw away my comic books. Never threw them away. And you hear these stories. Oh, I used to have those, but we had a tornado or a flood or a fire or something happened. I've still got my comic book from when I was a little boy. And I've taken that love that I grew up with and turned it into a nice retirement income. And I get to meet nice people like these guys. Now, I had my gift all picked out for Weasel for his birthday. Hang on.